The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, as translated by Baba Hari Das, with slight modifications for clarity. Book 1, Samādhi Pāda. Now the teachings of yoga are being explained. Control of thought waves, vritti, in the mind is yoga. Then, when thought waves are controlled, the seer is established in its own true nature. In other states, when the seer is not established in its true nature, the seer appears the same as the thought waves in the mind. The thought waves are fivefold. Some are painful and some are not painful. The 5 types of vritti are valid proof, wrong cognition, imaginary cognition, sleep, and memory. The 3 categories of valid proof are direct perception, inference, and scriptural testimony. Wrong knowledge is a false conception of an object, the real form of which does not correspond to the form established in the mind. Knowledge based on verbal cognition only, without an external object, is called imaginary cognition. The mental modification that is based on the absence of all cognition is dreamless sleep. Memory is that mental modification in which objects experienced are not lost or forgotten. They, the mental modifications, are controlled by practice and by dispassion. Of those 2, practice and dispassion, practice is the effort for being firmly established in the state of controlled thought waves. Persistent practice becomes firmly grounded when it has been practiced for a long, uninterrupted time with earnest devotion. One who has lost all cravings for the objects of experience, whether seen or heard as described in scriptures, acquires perfect mastery of desires, which is called dispassion. That dispassion is supreme when, due to knowledge of the self, freedom from all desires for the gunas, the qualities of nature, is achieved. Complete high consciousness, samprajñata samadhi, is that which is accompanied by reasoning, reflection, ecstasy, and pure sense of self. Persistent practice of the highest non-attachment, paravairaga, brings cessation of all thought waves, leaving only remnant impressions, samskaras, of cessation in the mind. This is the other kind of higher consciousness, asamprajñata samadhi. The samadhi of Videyas, bodiless beings, and prakriti layas, those who have merged into prakriti, is called bhava pratyaya, the samadhi experienced at rebirth. For others, upaya pratyaya yogis, samadhi is preceded by reverential faith, energy, remembrance, meditation, and the awakening of wisdom. Those who have an intense drive to attain samadhi get results quickly. Even among those who have intense drive, there are differences of the mild, medium, and intense. Samadhi can also be attained quickly by devotional surrender to God, Ishvara. Ishvara is a special Purusha not touched by afflictions, actions, their results, and the impressions produced by these actions. In that, there is the seed of limitless omniscience. Not being limited by time, Ishvara is the teacher of even the earliest teachers. Om is the word denoting God, Ishvara. Constant repetition of Om and meditation on its meaning are surrender to God, Ishvara Pranidhana. From that practice, Ishvara Pranidhana, consciousness turns inward. Realization of the self occurs, and the obstacles are also overcome. Disease, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, worldliness, delusion, non-achievement of a yogic state, and instability are the distractions of the mind, and they are obstacles in yoga. Pain, depression, nervousness, and hard breathing are the symptoms that accompany the distracted state of mind. To prevent those distractions and symptoms, practice on one principle is to be done. The mind becomes serene by the cultivation of feelings of love for the happy, compassion for the suffering, delight for the virtuous, and indifference for the non-virtuous. The mind may also be calmed by expulsion and retention of the breath. The manifestation of higher objective experience also firmly establishes steadiness of the mind. It may also be established by the perception of the luminous state within, which is free from sorrow. The mind can be stabilized by the contemplation on one who is free from attachments. The mind can also be stabilized when the object in meditation is the awareness of dream or dreamless sleep. Or by meditation as desired. Mastery is achieved when the mind can be fixed on objects from the minutest atom, extending up to the most expansive. When the fluctuations of the mind are weakened, the mind becomes like a transparent crystal and appears to take on the form of the object of meditation, whether it be the cognizer, the instruments of cognition, or the object cognized. This is called samadhi. The engrossment in which there is imaginary cognition of word, its meaning, and its knowledge is called the vitarka accompanied samapatti. When the memory is completely purified, the mind appears to be devoid of its own nature of reflective consciousness, and only the object on which it is contemplating remains illumined. This kind of engrossment is called nirvitarka samapatti. Savichara and nirvichara samadhis, in which the object is subtle, are also explained by the foregoing. Subtlety pertaining to objects extends up to the unmanifest prakriti. The four samadhis explained thus far are the samadhis with seed. On achieving proficiency in nirvichara samadhi, spiritual insight is purified. In that state, the knowledge gained bears the supreme truth, Ritambhara. Truth-bearing wisdom is different in aim from the knowledge derived from testimony or inference because it has a special purpose. It deals with particulars. The latent impressions, samskaras, produced from that, samadhi wisdom, is opposed to the formation of other latent impressions, samskaras. By control of even that, the latent impressions of sampranyata, the control of all else takes place, and, thereby, seedless samadhi is attained.